introducing you. But that's okay. I'm not a teacher, but I would like to give a testimony. And I am glad to be here with everyone, all the brethren. And it's always nice when we can come together and learn about our Creator. If we didn't come to learn, there would be nothing else to come for.
That's right. So, that's right.
The chapter that was read, Romans, the 8th chapter, I've always really liked this chapter. I'm sure all of you have too.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it takes every one of us out of the road.
That's right. That is right.
It pertains to nothing but spirit law. Because I need Mary going through sheep.
Go ahead.
She's not worth a tinker's dame.
Come on.
So, but the law of the spirit, if it wasn't for that, none of us would be there.
That's right.
So like I say, I would like to give my testimony. Could I have 1 Corinthians 13:13, I think it is.
Go ahead, Doc.
And now abideth faith, hope, and charity, or love. These three, but the greatest of these is love.
That's it. If you don't have love, you don't have anything.
That's right.
You can just forget it all. Before our founder passed, he was in the hospital. And the first time he said it in the presence of many of you here, that we better, he didn't say you should, he said you better love one another.
All right.
And get your house in order.
All right.
I can get Betty's in order. I can't even get Mary's in order. But you better get your house in order.
Come on.
Because he was taking off the flesh, and we wouldn't be far behind. So, if he, the Creator, our founder, Yahweh in a body, if he's the one that told us what we better do,
That's right.
try to do anything. We can't do anything.
That's right.
But it's good to try to do something. At least you're found doing. So, I think it's in the 13th chapter of John, it also speaks about love. I think it's 13:34.
A new commandment I give unto you, that you love one another, as I have loved you, that you also love one another.
Now see, that's what he did.
Yes.
And that's what he told us to do. That you love one another as I have loved you. That you also love one another. Why did he have put the same thing twice
Come on.
in one verse? Because we're so hard-headed, we never catch anything the first time. Seldom ever catch it after 1,000 times. So, he put it down for us. Because he knows our heart and mind. He's telling me, hey, you're not so smart. What can you do? Nothing. I can't do anything.
Come on.
But that's one thing I would like to try to be is obedient. And when he, on his deathbed, talked about love, it had to be important or he hadn't done it.
That's right.
And it wasn't for his sake, because that's what he was. It was for our sake.
All right.
That he loved each and every one of us.
That's right.
It's just like if you got 6 kids, that you love them all. Do you love Jim better than you do John?
No.
You can't do that as a parent.
That's right.
And that's all Yahweh is, so there's no way he can pick me over you.
That's right. That's right.
It doesn't work that way.
That is right. That's all right.
Now, let's go to Matthew 22.
Do it, Doc.
37 and 38. I think.
Joshua said unto him, Thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment.
So that's what really all the rest of this is about. So I thank you for your time and patience. As I stated before, I am not a So I've got sense enough to sit down. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Take your time. Don't worry.
I'm happy to have this opportunity to visit with you here in Pasadena
Yes, sir.
and to see many faces that I've seen before and quite a few that I haven't seen. And let me say at the outset that as Dr. Mary Gross was saying, it is important for us to try to come together and be in accord in Yahshua Messiah.
Go ahead.
Now I said it that way because I wanted it to be understood that there is no way to have any accord outside the body of Yahshua.
That's right. No way.
It's being in Him that brings about the accord and the agreeableness and the unity.
That's right.
And to state it matter of factly, there never has been and there never will be any division in the body of Yahshua the Messiah.
That's right.
Now, if you have divisions, then they're outside that body.
Go ahead.
And I might say also that as long as we are in this flesh, and as long as we have this satanic spirit to contend with, there will be divisions, but not in the body.
That's right. That's right.
All of the apostles had to contend with this all of the time that they ministered in the gospel. Paul said, I believe it's in 1 Corinthians 14 and 26. Just try reading that for me.
All
1
right.
Corinthians 14 and 26.
Good job, Doc.
How is it then, brethren? When you come together, everyone has a song.
Now, see, the apostle had that to deal with.
Right.
Now, he went around and he preached the gospel unto those that he came in contact with.
That's right.
But even after he preached the gospel and preached it as it should be preached, see, then there were contentions.
That's right.
There were disagreements, you see.
Come on.
And he had to address the matter. And he said, how is it that when you come together, read,
Every one of you has a song,
every one of you have a song, read,
has a doctrine,
have a doctrine, read,
has a tongue,
have a tongue, read,
has a revelation,
have a revelation,
has an interpretation.
and has an interpretation. See? Now, that's going to happen. See? And none of us should be naive enough to think that there is any way possible, see, for the whole body of folk that make up the IDMR to be one and everybody see alike. That will never happen as long as we are in the flesh. You see? But inside this body that we call the Institute of Divine Metaphysical Research, there is that spiritual body that makes up the body of Yahshua Messiah. And there will always be unity and accord within that body.
Well said.
You understand? And if you pay particular attention to the fact that the Apostle John on the Isle of Patmos, in talking about those 7 assemblies that were in Asia Minor, he gave them credit for the things that they did that was right and in conformity with the Holy Spirit.
Right.
But if you will notice, he also said this. He said, and this I have against you, That's right. And he went on to cite things that he knew was wrong in each one of those assemblies. Mm-hmm. You understand? Now that word assembly means church or congregation. That's right. You understand? See, now there was something wrong in those assemblies that he set up in Asia Minor, then you know there's going to have to be that type of thing going on with us at this particular time. You understand? See? So then I want you all to wake up to that fact, you see. But at the same time, keep in mind that there is that unity in the body of Yahshua the Messiah. That's right. Now I just want to, I don't know how much time I've got. Can you give me an idea?
What you want, Pastor? What you want.
I'm not going to be up here all that long, but I do have a thought in mind that I want to kind of share with you. When I first came into the institute, and I might say this, that I held out against this teaching for a long time. My mother was one of those first ones, not the first, but one of the first to come into this school way about 1940. This is some 9 years or so after Dr. Kennedy had the divine vision and revelations. And as you've heard it said, I'm sure, that by her brother-in-law, Brother William Farley, whom Dr. Kennedy healed of cancer, he was put out of the church that they were attending at that time, the Baptist church. And my mother, realizing that since she was attending these institute classes, she knew that she would she would soon follow him. In other words, she would be put out of the church also. So she didn't want to give them the satisfaction of putting her out, so she just got out. All right. Now, she was one of those that you might call at that time the mother of the church, because she sang in the choir. She was assistant superintendent at one time. She served on the usher board. She was president of the Missionary Society. And she also handled the matter of the Lord's Supper, the materials that were necessary for that, such as the linen and making the unleavened bread, that type of thing. She had to do that. And when it came to her, came down to the point where she just left all of those responsibilities that she had in the church, she just sat up and cried about it, because she didn't realize at that time what was happening to her. But anyway, just make a long story short, after about some 17 years, listening to her talk about this teaching, and she tried hard to get me interested in this work. See? I was going to school, going to college, and you know how we college graduates are. You can't tell us anything. We get our heads full of worldly knowledge. You understand? And we just think we are 10 foot tall. There's nothing you tell me. And my mother went to the 6th grade of Common Elementary School like Dr. Kennedy did. So then I just wouldn't listen to her at all. See? But after 17 years, I put it like the Apostle Saul said, when it pleased Yahweh, all right, see, who separated me from my mother's womb and put me in the ministry. See, when it pleased Yahweh, then I was drawn into this school. All right, understand? See? And it was a rather peculiar circumstances that I came in. See? Because I had a building back there in Mason Heights where I was practicing. And I had a part of the building rented out to a dentist that I was in association with. And I had other areas in the building where I rented out apartments. And I had one particular room that my sister rented for me as a beauty parlor. And she asked me, since she didn't have... she didn't do any work on Monday evening. She asked me if it was all right for the institute to hold classes there in this beauty parlor. I said, listen, if you want to hold classes there, it's all right with me. I said, as long as you pay my rent. I said, you can do anything you want with it. See? So they used to come there on a Monday night and have their meetings. talking about the Institute of Biomedical Research. Now, on the other side of the wall was my office.
Jesus.
And I was having office hours. See, that being a medical doctor. See, from 8 to 10 on Monday nights. And there was every other night except Wednesday. During the week. Except Wednesday and Saturday and Sunday. And I would oftentimes, while I was having office hours, hear Dr. Kinley over there in that room, you see, and he would get kind of loud at times.
Well,
and I did a peculiar thing at that time. I would leave my patients that were in that office. And I had another room right adjacent, just right on the other side of the wall was the beauty parlor, and on my side, there was what I call a recovery room. It was a room that I didn't use except for patients that had been given a shot or an injection, and I didn't want them to go right out on the street at the time. And I would put them in this room, and they'd be back there by themselves in a little quiet atmosphere until such time as they had recovered, and then I would let them go home. So that room wasn't occupied. So when I would hear Dr. Kinley talking about this gospel and getting all loud over there, I would go into that room and I'd wait for my patients and put my ear to the wall. Remind me of Hezekiah. All right. And I would try to hear things that he was saying on the other side of that wall.
yes, sir.
Of course, I couldn't get complete thoughts, you see, because oftentimes his voice would be up, and then again it would go down, and when it would go down, I wouldn't be able to catch what he was saying. And I even wondered to myself, now, why are you doing this? But I would go on back to my patients, you see, and take care of them. But it just so happened on one Monday night, one of these Monday nights, on October the 7th, 1957.
Come on.
I had finished my office hours at 9 o'clock that night. My office hours from 7 to 9, and they were only class from 8 to 10, which meant that an hour after I closed my office, they were still over there.
Yes, sir.
So this particular Monday night, I didn't have any patients to take care of. I didn't have no home calls to make. So when I left that building that night, something said to me, why don't you go on over there to that class? You know you have promised your mother, and you have promised others of them that you were going to visit that class, and said that you have never done it. See? Say, are you that big a hypocrite that you would tell somebody that you're going to do something they won't do it?
Steve.
Voice in my side. And I said, well, I guess I will go to that class. So I took my little black bag, put it in the back of the car, locked the door, started around the car to go to this class. The door was only about, I guess maybe about 15 paces from my car. And I got halfway there, and someone said to me, well, now listen here, you don't want to spend your time like that. Listen,
Come on.
you don't have no home calls to make. Say, won't you go on home and keep your shoes off, and pick yourself a nice little party or something like that? Sit back and listen to some hi-fi music or something like that.
Come on.
And I said, well, I guess I will. See, I'm not going to that class. So I turned and went back to the car. Started to put the key in the lock, go back in the car, and that same voice said, now wait a minute. See, here again, you said you were going to do a thing, and then you didn't do it. Right. So what kind of fellow are you? And the second time I tried to go around that car to go to this class, see? And the same old satanic spirit said to me, listen, fellow, now, you don't get these breaks very often when it comes to not having home calls. Most of the time, you know, you got home calls to run after you get through collecting your office hours every night, see. So don't you take advantage of this and say, you're tired, you're worn out, go home and rest. Well, I listened to that voice a second time. Make a long story short, the third time when that voice spoke to me, I made it. And when I walked into that little room, you see, where these people are assembled, were assembled. Everybody looked around, you know, and I could see all the buzzing going on, see, because I know they were surprised to see me there.
Right.
So I came and sat down on the front seat that they had provided for me. See? And Dr. Kenny just stopped in the middle of his discourse and he said, ladies and gentlemen, said, we're just awfully happy that Dr. Harris has come into this class tonight. He said, now everybody knows him here in the valley. Said he is a licensed practicing physician. And said many of you here in this congregation are his patients. Right. And said we're just awfully happy to see him. For the longest time that we have wanted him to come and visit one of our classes. And that man, by the way, was the most humble, see, and most down to earth. Yes, sir. Most genteel man that you ever want to meet. You see? Dr. Kenny, I'm talking about as a physical man. I know who he was in the body. You understand? He was that spirit, element, Yahweh in a body. But even as a natural man, see, just as a natural man, see, barring everything else, I don't know of any physical man that didn't ever walk the earth plane any better than H.C. Kenny.
Go ahead. That's all right.
Understand? He didn't ever give you that much of a chance to say that he was anything other than what he was supposed to be.
All right.
And in that genteel manner, and humble manner, he said, now, ladies and gentlemen, I just wondered if we could impose upon Dr. Harris this evening, see, to get up and say a few things to this class. And he is a medical doctor. And we would just like for him to get up and say something to you about childbirth. See, how a baby comes into this world. See? And I was thinking at the time that he was uttering, well, now, what if you want me to speak about childbirth? I thought this was a Bible class.
Come on. Yes, sir.
And I said to myself also, while he was yet speaking, I said, well, if I do speak, I never had been before in the audience before to speak on any medical subject. But I said to myself, if I do speak, I said, those people ain't going to know what I'm talking about.
Come on.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. Tell it.
That these medical terms that I'll have to use and employ. See, I said, they won't understand what I'm saying. But by that time, he had finished his introductory remarks, and he said, Dr. Harris, I got on up, and I went in to explain to those people how that a child is born into the world. See? And I wasn't long in my discourse, about 10 to 15 minutes, to bring out the most salient points concerning childbirth, you see. Now, after I had finished, I took my seat, and I'm just verbally patting myself on the back when I sat down in my seat. You understand?
Come on.
I said to myself, I said, oh, you did a nice job. By the way, it's the first time that you ever did get up and speak to any audience on a medical subject. Very well. You might consider doing that on a more I've been used to, sitting under medical lecturers. Some of them make it a profession of that. That's the wrong grade, no. See, some of them make a profession of just going around lecturing. And they get what you call an honorarium.
That's right.
You understand? They get paid good money for doing that.
That's right.
And when I finished my discourse, I thought, well, that might be what you are destined to do. Well, that little pat on the back didn't last long.
Come on.
Before Dr. Kenny was right back up on the floor, and he said, now you see, children, he said, now, you see what I've been telling you all the time. I said, did you notice what Dr. Harris said about childbirth? He said, now, every bit of it fits that pattern that I'm telling you about. And I'm thinking to myself, what pattern? This is my first time, see?
Yes.
Then he gets up on the floor, and he starts going through.
Go ahead.
this tabernacle pattern, and pointing it out. And of course, I never had heard nothing about no pattern in the Bible or outside the Bible. And he starts telling about how that seed enters into the vagina, goes on up through the vagina, through the mouth of the womb, on up into the body of the womb, and then proceeds on up, you see, up into the upper regions of the fallopian tube. The fallopian tube overhang the womb like these cherub, the wings of cherubim overshadow the mercy seat. And he said when that ovum, and by the way, that spermatozoa that goes in, see, and now you notice there are 3,550 of those Israelites that came up out of Egypt.
Come on.
Now he said, now if you just round that off to the number 6, you see, and compare that with the fact that 60 million, you see, of those spermatozoa, you see, entering in through the into the vagina, going up through the body of the womb. See, now like as it was here in the migratory tract, see, Moses was their leader. You see, Aaron had died, Moses died on this side of Jordan.
Right.
You see, and then Joshua picked up the children of Israel. Now I know the elders up in the field,
That's all right.
but Joshua was the one that led them on over into Canaan land. So he said that he as one, you see, was the leader.
That's right.
In there.
That's
See?
right.
And likewise, the two low priests, as Moses and Aaron cut out here, then the two low priests couldn't go any farther in the holy place.
All right.
And the high priest went on into the most holy place alone by himself.
All right.
Now that's shown also by the virtue of the fact that the 660 million spermatozoa, which is the sperm count,
Yes.
all of those sperm, you see, die off, you see, and nothing but one of them can enter into that ovum. Into that ovum. Now, when that sperm and that ovum come together, you see, at the precise moment that they unite, see, that's when life begins.
All right. All
And
right.
that's to be correlated with the flashing of this Shekinah
Yes, sir.
here in this cloud.
All right.
You see, above the mercy seat. Then that seed proceeds to come on down.
Come on, God, bring it.
See, just like Yahweh, it came on down from pure spirit, you see. Got an ascent and descent to this power. You see. Now that seed comes on down, see, from the upper regions of the fallopian tubes and comes on down, and when it comes into the body